All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Black and Gold. This is HiBruiNation, the unofficial home of your Boston Bruins. I'm Goosey, and joined as always by my two astonishing co-hosts in Whitey and the Chavo. Guys, say hello to the people.
What's up, gang? Happy
What's
Sunday.
You guys were so quick to that. Steve's like, "What's up?" Like that's it. Like, he was just so quick to that. He goes, "Yeah, all right, fine. Fucking happen to be here." And then
We have big
Steve's just
discussions right now.
Yeah,
We're ready to get into it.
I'm just happy to be here. And Whitey's just like, I'm just
ready for the show. Yeah, let's get
Just
into
ready
it.
for the show. How's everyone doing? Doing good. Yeah, we got a good show for you guys tonight. We're still in the lull of the off season. Fuck the off season, dude. I hate this crap. I just want some darn hockey to be played. Yeah, it's killing me, dude. September's right around the corner. I'm more and more excited as it approaches. You know, we're gonna get the Bruins Prospect Challenge. We're gonna get preseason, and then we're gonna get right into the regular season as soon as October hits. So it's gonna come up quick. Tonight we're gonna talk about some interesting stuff. We're gonna do some early point predictions from some of the players that we believe are going to crack the opening night roster. We're going to do our Bruins Mount Rushmore, as we're going to call it, Mount Bearmore. We're going to have a little fun discussion on who would you rather have, and we'll discuss on who those two players may or may not be a little bit later in the show, so stick around for that. But there is also some good news that was announced by the Bruins this past week, that they are going to do FanFest again. It is going to be from September 5th, I believe, to September 7th. Go on their website, sign up. Registration is free. I know I will definitely be going on September 6th, which is in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, and hoping to see a couple players there, a couple guest appearances. So that's gonna be some fun. But without further ado, guys, let's get right into HiBruiNation, because this offseason stinks and kind of sucks that there's no games to talk about. So let's go. Let's start with some points, right? And then we'll get into the Mount Bearmore. So we scaled it. Ladies and gentlemen. We scaled some stuff. So we're going to give some ranges, and they're going to be in the differential of 10. So, for example, we're going to do 10 to between the realm of 10 to 20 points, 21 to 30 points, 31 to 40 points, 41 to 50 points, 51 to 60 points, 61 to 70 points, and of course 71 plus points. So we're just going to put players in those categories where we necessarily believe that they're going to kind of go, and we'll go category by category, and then we'll fight it out and give our thoughts on why we think those are there. Whitey still seems to think that Tanner Jeannot is going to score 100 points. So that's just one thing we're never going to let go. Sorry, Whitey.
108 to be exact.
108.
Yep.
Can I write that down?
No. That's just a little facetious.
Are you talking about his career points?
Yeah, he doesn't even have that many.
Exactly.
Oh God, I put out a poll. I don't even know whether or not the Bruins fans would think that Pasternak's going to score like 100 points. Like I said, the over under. I'm like, he's getting close. If you actually look at the last 3 years, he's more or less trended downward. So he had 113, then 110, and now he's at 106 in the last 3 years. So it's a valid question. Like, is the team good enough to help him get to that 100-point mark? And also, is barring injury and anything else, that. But we'll get into it because we're obviously going to discuss him too as we talk about the points. Guys, let's start with the 10 to 20 range, right? Are there any players that you feel on this team that definitely can't hit the 10 mark? I feel like the 10 mark, you got to have those players, right? I don't think there's a player on this team that would not hit 10 points. By that I mean, like,
I do.
Yeah. Do you?
I really do.
Do you actually like
0 to 10 points?
Really, you don't think he's going to get at least 10 points?
I mean, honestly, I'm just kind of like pulling y'all's chains, but like he might get 15 if he's lucky. But realistically, I see him with like actually like maybe 10 or 11, 12 points. Like he's that bad. I mean, he's that bad.
I'm waiting for him to get 50 points, and Steve is going to be in here at the end of the season. He just goes, "Can you believe that shit?" Because I was wrong about that.
I'll make it a public apology if he scores more than 25 points this season. I really will.
I think that's fair. I think he might actually get to at least like 20 to 25 points. I don't think he's going to get 30, but I think he could get there. But no, genuinely speaking, like outside of players that will play as like relievers for some games, right? And barring injury, like, if you're talking like, your the players that will be consistently playing and on the roster, do you genuinely think like anyone out of them is not going to get at least 10 points? I just feel like that's a fair scale.
No, yeah, you can just luck into 10 points these days. I mean, if you're playing, let's call it 75 games, missing a few games for injury, and I mean, hopefully each player is playing 82 games,
right?
But I don't know. I think it would be hard to not score at least 10 points.
I find it hard to believe that if you don't get 10 points as a professional hockey player, you can call yourself a professional hockey player on an NHL team. You might.
I think Danny Paille had a
might
season
be
that
back down the minors, like if they can, but no movement clauses and such. But 10 points over the course of a season is realistically not that hard to get.
I think maybe the closest, like maybe Andrew Peak, but I mean, even last year he had 17 points and he's not scoring. He had 1 goal last year, I believe. So even with that, I mean, you can just lock into the assist there and just have the second point, the second assist point. So even if you're not the person directly assisting on the goal, you can still get the secondary one. So I don't know. I don't see anyone on the Bruins not scoring at least 10 points.
Yeah, I just looked it up because I remember Danny Paille had like a really bad season, like one time where he only scored like 13 points, but it was in 72 games. So I'm like, and he was a fourth liner, so like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, if he's scoring 13 points, you got to figure like there's got to be reasonable within that range, right? So I don't know. All right, good. So that's not bad for a first basis. I mean, I some of these I think are on the higher end, at least from me. I have Jeannot, I have Asimont, I have Beecher, and I have Husnudinov. Husnudinov mainly because I don't think I think he'll be. A lot of these guys are going to be rotating in and out of the lineup, so that's why like those 4 are there in my category anyway. 10 to 20 points. I don't think the team's going to be that good.
I think Corrali also needs to go in that 10 to 20 category.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, he might hit 20 on the nose. Yeah,
I think he's in the next tier above. I would put Corrali in the 21D.
You think so?
I think 21 to 30. Yeah, I think he's probably going to be bounced around throughout the lineup. I think that he's kind of an established guy within the league, and he could even see 15 minutes a night on the third line on some nights. So I don't know. I find it hard for him to not get 20 points at least.
See, you guys are exactly right of him being bounced around, and that's kind of like what I'm seeing is him being bounced around, but that might play well to his abilities because he's not building up a lot of chemistry with people and not really, he won't have the opportunity to kind of assimilate with people and just kind of know where they're going. And if he's playing that up and down game all day, he might not, play as much with one guy one night, and then he might play the next shift with someone different. So I think that will eventually hurt him.
Yeah, Steve might actually have a point that he might not get to 21 points. Because remember, the first category is 10 to 20, and then the next one is 21 to 30. I mean, he's only scored over 20 points 3 times in his NHL career, and he's been playing since 2016 and 2017. So it's only happened 3 times. So Steve might have a point. I think Steve's pretty valid for putting him in there, like for Steve's opinion. I just think that for the most part of his career, he's been a fourth liner. But I think, if they do play him on the third line, he could breach it. That's all I'm thinking. He could definitely breach that point value.
100%. That's exactly where I'm at to it. And he had a 30-point season with Columbus too, in their heyday of them stinking it up when he was averaging 15, almost 16 minutes of ice time. So if he stays around there, I think that he could even break the 30.
Yeah. Who did the fourth line could also just be electric too. Like, I like the idea of having Asimont, Corrali, and Kostelik.
Yeah, that would be you're good at your good energy line. Yeah. I'm trending positive with the fourth line estimations as well.
Is there anyone else you guys would think? Is there anyone else you guys think that belongs in the 10 to 20 category? I was kind of like having some difficulty kind of putting people into that low of the category. I mean, Andrew Peak. You know what I mean? I feel like Peak's another good candidate for that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Who else did I have? Let me pull up my graph. Yeah, peak. You said Kaslik, Kostelik. Maybe Zadorov, but I see him having
No,
more
for the
ice
10
time
to
this
20
year.
range. 10 to 20
Yeah,
range.
yeah.
I'm
That's
talking.
yeah.
Oh,
No, yeah.
yes. No, wow.
Well, you got to
Okay.
think too. I think the point with Zadorov is kind of valid because with his new defensive partner, he's more of that stay-at-home defensive guy, and he might get lucky and get some assists off of some good passing, or even if when he eventually makes it to the offensive zone and the puck comes back to the point and it gets a tip or something like that. But I mean, with his D partner, he's going to be the defensive guy on that. His partner is going to be the offensive guy on that. So I mean, I would much rather him be a shutdown type defenseman and let.
he's.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say he's only broken 20 points 4 times, and his highest in his career is 22. So, like with your points that you're saying, he could be that stay-at-home D-man. Maybe won't see the 20, but I mean, he's gonna be a guy that gets plenty of ice time. So, in an ideal world, if the Bruins are any sort of competitive within the division, or even just a competent hockey team, you should expect like 25, hopefully, for him.
See, I'm highballing the Bruins defensemen because they work the low to high game a lot, and the high to low. They work that very, very good. They've always been known to engage their defense. So I'm expecting a lot of defensemen to be involved. I could see Zadorov capping at 22, but that's in the next tier, right? Like that's better than 10 to 20 points. That's all I'm saying. I don't think he's going to be like wildly close to 30, but I think I could see him getting 22, 23 points, in that regard. He has a wicked slap shot. He could step up if needed be. And I agree, Henry Yuki-Haru is going to be more of that two-way puck mover and maybe offensive-minded defenseman. But I feel like if you give Zadorov an open, wide slap shot, he can hit the net. Or he can maneuver it down, or if there's a rebound. I think Zadorov's points are going to largely come from secondary assists, not primary.
Yeah,
or like
he's good for what 3 goals, 4 goals a season. One or two sneak by, and I think
there's one year he had 14, but
yeah, there's 1 year he had that. I mean, it was probably his highest point season, right? Where
no, it was actually his second highest point season.
Okay, so I mean, it was up there, top 3. But I mean, I think a realistic range for him is 20 to 25 points, with majority of that being secondary assists, and then followed up with primary assists, and then finally goals.
Yeah, that's not bad.
You can see, I mean, Johnny Beecher, depending on how much ice time he gets, being in that 10 to 20 category as well. He's only scored 10 and 11 points in his 2 seasons. So, I mean, he'd have to
see him
have
rotating.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Whitey, 100%. I just see him as a rotator. Like, that's why I have Husnudinov there and Beecher, is because I'm just thinking about the players that they're going to need to outplay. And, the players that are likely to be rotating are like Corrali, Asimont. You can't rotate Tanner Jeannot because he makes too much money. He makes 3.4. You're not going to rotate a guy that makes $3.4 million out of the lineup. You'll rotate.
Why would you rotate the first line winger?
What was that?
Why would you rotate a first line winger? That doesn't make sense for Jeannot.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
No one here should be surprised if they try him on the first line. No one here should be surprised if they try it. It's not going to stick, but don't be surprised if they try it.
Yeah, don't be surprised, because I mean, he's making second line winger money. Honestly,
no, not in this day, not in this NHL.
A guy that's quite frankly not proven. He's proven to be shit, and I'm sorry. Like that's at the end of the day, that's what he's proven, and he's making too much money for the quality of player he is. I mean,
well, Trent Frederick is making the same amount of money, just longer term. If you think about it, like, go look at the contract value. Trent Frederick and the Tanner Jeannot contract are effectively the same thing.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, I wouldn't pay either of those guys that amount of money for that long term.
I would pay Trent Frederick. He's younger.
Yeah, but Trent, I honestly,
I wouldn't pay him 8 years. I wouldn't do it for 8 years, but I would pay him that money.
That contract is atrocious to me. It just makes me throw up.
Hey, let Edmonton be Edmonton.
I
don't care.
Exactly.
We're going to be the Bruins, and Edmonton can go to another cup final and absolutely blow it because Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are the only two people on that team that can actually do anything. No offense to anyone or in Edmonton, but if you watch that final this year versus last year, I'm sorry, it was not the same Stanley Cup final. I honestly thought that they had a better chance this year than they did last year, and they didn't even take them to 7. So I don't know.
Hyman was a big loss, though. Hyman
was a huge loss. I agree. Thank you, Rick. Thank you to the god in the sky whose name is Rick Seligman. Did I get it right this time?
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
you did.
So there we go. All right, guys, 21 to 30 point range. I got Corrali, Kostelik, Zadorov, and Blumel. Blumel's someone we acquired, and he's big. I could see it if he is. So I was actually talking with someone on Twitter, and they sold me on this guy, and so I'm like, you know what? I could see him getting, again, on the softer side of 21 points, because I think 30 points might be a reach for some of these guys, but I think they could be in the 20s for sure.
Yeah, I think
30 is
definitely that cap. Like 30 is like that gracious cap. I mean, no doubt in my mind, Kostelik should be getting 25 points, right?
I think
we just talked about Zadorov. Like my expectation for him for being a top 4 defenseman is 20 to 25 points. I don't think that's really out of the box.
Yeah. Well, Kostelik also had
with Blumel too. I mean, like
season. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say he's just an unproven commodity at this point, and I mean he's got the upside there, but I mean he's played 7 games and 6 games in a season before, so I mean at the NHL level. So I mean you'd like to see him in the 25 to 30, but I mean just big question mark next to him in my opinion.
Listen, people might think we're crazy also mentioning Kostelik in this 21 to 30 range. But in all honesty, like last year, that fourth line, the way they started was absolutely electric. They were insanely good, and they were the Bruins' leading scorers up and I think until November. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility he can do it, especially with the way I think I like that fourth line. I just like Sean Crowley's a good two-way forward. AC wants a good agitator, and Kostelik does have skill. So I mean, I'm not saying they're going to be the best fourth line in hockey, but I think they're decent. I think they're pretty all right.
I think overall that fourth line is probably up there top 10 in the NHL for a fourth line. I mean, fourth liners got the very specific job of, hey, go out there, get jazz up some people, make the point come across. I mean, if you score a goal, great. Don't give up a goal is most important, right? You're out there to give the first 2 lines a rest.
They'd be a really good fourth line on a good hockey team, but it's kind of sad that they're kind of going to waste here because there's not too much separation between them and our third line as it currently stands. But I mean, hopefully proven wrong, and like we talked about last episode, that could be a potential reason why we might succeed more than people are giving credit at this current time.
Right. I also like to mention Yoki Haru. I did think I could put him in the 31 to 40 range, but I thought about it a little bit more. I actually like him in the 21 to 30 because I think that is his most realistic ceiling. I think he would take upon a different role with Zadorov being that backward defense, and he brings you something, right? He brings you, I think, that Matt Grzelcyk, but better than Matt Grzelcyk type of feel, where if Zadorov is going to be the big mean defenseman, it opens Yoki Haru up a bit more to take a risk at the blue line. And I think that's what he's going to bring to the team. And I think that's what the Bruins are going for too. If you look at Lindholm and McAvoy, the way they play, I think one of those 2 defensemen are going to take a step, not back, but in the sense of like they're going to be, one of them is going to be more of a defensive player, and I think it's going to be McAvoy. But I would prefer McAvoy step up in the offensive zone more so than Hampus Lindholm.
Absolutely agree. And then, I mean, even if you just look at what Jokiharju did last year when the Bruins acquired him, he played 18 games and got 4 points. So multiply that by 4 and change, it's this around 20-ish points. I think that he could easily be there, if not more. And he was getting 21 minutes a game too when he got to the Bruins, which is a big step up from what he was getting in Buffalo before that.
I mean,
easy. It was because the top 2 defensemen were injured. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, the top 2 defensemen were injured, but at the same time, if they're supposedly, him and Zadorov are supposed to be a top 4 pairing, right? And like I said, with Zadorov being more that stay at home, it does give him the opportunity to play more offensively, and I think that will give him credit. I mean, honestly, if we get 35 points from him, that's kind of like my, between 30 and 35 is kind of my expectation.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, wow. Because I think he's allowed to play a different style with having, I mean, we've talked about this a few times where him and Zadorov are a pretty good pairing. And like Little Z ended up cleaning up his game a lot throughout the season. I think their pairings did impact it very, I guess, very well. But I think over the aggregate of time, I think Jokiharju can play his game and they'll feel a little bit more comfortable in that. And I mean, even if it's just, maybe primary assists is the vast majority of it, that's okay. A point is a point. We'll take it.
Yep. I'm looking at Jokiharju's stats right now. Pretty hilarious goal figures throughout his career. In 2019 and going onwards, he has 4 goals scored, and then 3, and then 3, and then 3, and then 3, and then 3. So you can pencil him in for 3 goals next year.
Consistency is key.
Yep.
Consistency is key, Whitey. I'll take it. But also, I'm willing to take a gamble on any Buffalo Sabre.
Yep.
Give me any Buffalo Sabre from their AHL affiliate. I don't care. They're going to succeed somewhere else. Somehow.
Elsewhere.
It's just the nature of what the year Jack Eichel left the Sabres, or if not that year, the year after, goes and wins a cup. Sam Reinhart, the year after, he wins a cup, because I believe the year he was traded, they went to the cup final, but they did not.
And he put up a lot of points through that little point that little season that he got traded to, and then that season where they won the cup, he was a very important part of that cup winning team.
Yep, Kyle Okposo, cup winner.
We got to find our way to get our hands on Tage Thompson. He's an absolute beast in the black and gold. And
we already have an
for making horrible.
Dean Letternam.
Yeah, I mean, in 4 years.
Not really.
Yeah,
maybe
just
5.
a big boy. Yeah.
If he doesn't if Dean doesn't turn it around, if Dean doesn't turn it around this year in Boston College, you might as well just call it a loss. He needs, he's a project. He's definitely a project. No, I think. How old is Dean?
Yeah,
he's 19.
19. Okay, so he's still 19. Young.
He'll be turning 20.
He still has the opportunity to grow in the college game a little bit. Okay, I mean that makes it feel a little bit better than just kind of writing him off.
Yeah, I'm not going to just completely write off the guy, but they mentioned that when they drafted him that he was definitely going to be a project for sure. Mm-hmm. But he had comps to Tage Thompson, and I'm just like, well, it took Tage Thompson a little while to get into the league too, and then he found his own. You never know what these guys can turn into. There's a reason why they're called prospects, but it's all up to Dean too. Dean needs to, make that development himself. We have a lot of guys attending BC. We have William Moore, James Higgins, Dean Lecherneau. So those are a lot of future Bruins.
We got. I think we have.
Total? I think we have 7 at BC, which is a third of their team. So
it'll be fun to watch.
Figure it out. The only one right now, or the only 2 that I'm extremely confident on, is Will Moore and James Higgins. For sure, confidence, 100% confidence that they'll be good NHLers. Or moderate NHLers at least. Dean, I just want to see more. One thing's for sure, I'm definitely watching a lot of Boston College hockey this year, 100%.
I would just like to see him score a goal. He didn't have one last year at BC, so we shall see. But
Dean
BC
or
Letourneau, yeah.
Well, he played the entire season with 2 broken hands. I think both of his hands were broken, or something.
Yeah, it was something like that. But regardless, I mean, like you said, it could be a Tage. I mean, just the measurables, 6'7" and 200 something pounds. He fits the mold of Tage Townsend. Let's just hope that he can live up to his potential, because that'd be awesome.
I'm still shocked that Steve has Yogi Haru scoring in the 30s. Because my 31 to 40 point range is Lowry, Minton, Arvidsson, Patra, McAvoy, Lindholm, and Middlestat. Oh, sorry. No, my 31 to 40 is just Lowry, Minton. I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably add Patra to that mix, especially with the what you're talking about, where a lot of in and out, up and down minutes. Yep. I think if Patra gets 35 this year, I'd consider that a breakout season. I mean, I especially as a consistent NHLer.
Oh, I did lie. No, I'm sorry. Patra and Arvidsson are in my 31 to 40 point range.
Okay.
Apologize. Yeah.
I love Patra. I don't understand why they keep messing with him and sending him up and down. I think that he's a reliable guy in the face-off dot, and you just know kind of what you're getting with him, and he has more upside than
size.
Than a lot of players that have been sticking on the roster. So I don't know. We'd love to see more of him this year. Yeah, and size. It is size.
It's an easy answer. It's his size. They want him to be. I think he's like 188 or something like that now, or 185. From what he mentioned, like last season, how he's been putting on weight and muscle, which is good. But it's just kind of like, yeah, the old mentality of just like, let's just beat the crap out of him. Like, no, Patra's a skill guy. Like, some things you just got to give up in terms and get some skill. Like, I think Patra is good. His hockey IQ is great. And I just don't want him to waste too much time down in Providence, because he tore it up. He went down to Providence and he absolutely tore it up.
Exactly.
He's not a
he was a point of game player in Providence.
Yeah, he's not an AHLer. He's not.
I mean, he'd be an NHLer if he was on any other team, even if it was a consistent third line, right? Like
definitely Chicago.
Definitely Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, San Jose, Anaheim. Like, obviously,
I don't know about San Jose, because San Jose, like they're stacked at center.
They are, but I mean, definitely Philly. But I mean, with San Jose, it's always up and down. Those guys go through hot and cold cycles like no other team. They're either playing kind of really well, or they're playing really shit, or individual players are playing really well and the team can't win. Like, that's kind of like what I'm getting the gist out of, especially last season for San Jose.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at Patra right now.
Go ahead, Whitey. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just real quick on Patra. I'm just looking at his total numbers with the Bruins. He, in both his stints here, the last 2 seasons, he's played 66 games and has 26 points. So, I mean, you even that out to an 82-game regular season, he'll be in the 30s just based off those numbers alone. And, I mean, hopefully he's developed over this offseason and put on that weight that you mentioned. So, I mean, he could be an over 40-point guy if he gets enough ice time.
I think if you have a line of Jeannot, Minton, and Patra, that's a pretty good, because you have 2 skill guys and a guy that can create space for you. So I'm not gonna say like those guys are gonna like go and be huge difference makers, but I would say that's a pretty solid third line for what you have to deal with. I love what Patra has to bring to the team in the sense of a hockey IQ. He reminds me a lot of David Krejci with how he handles the puck. He's not perfect. He's 20, right? I'm not expecting a 20-year-old to be this elite veteran or play like this elite veteran, especially with where he was drafted. But I can't see the Bruins waste another year of certain players' talents down the AHL when it's not really. I don't think it's going to benefit Patra that much. Because if he's going to have the points that he did again down in the AHL, are you going to really waste his time calling him up and calling him down? Give the kid the NHL experience. Because if you believe he's going to get there one day, give it to him, and just give it to him on the third line. Same thing with Minton. Fuck Lysell, because Lysel's not making the team.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more about giving the kid a shot, especially when the last season was the season that we all know what happened, right? And especially with this
season.
No
Bruin had a good season.
No Bruin had a good season. And, I mean, he has the opportunity to prove himself out there if management decides to give him the okay to do it, and it's up to him to prove it. But, again, it's still give him the opportunity to do what he needs to do and prove his value to the organization, right? I mean, Don't play the because again, if he walks away in whatever, I can't remember what his contract is, but if he walks away, he's playing consistently at the NHL on I would say probably 90% of the other teams, right?
Well, he wouldn't be able to walk away, but I understand what you're saying. Like, so if it ever came to a point where he could and had the option to walk away, are you going to let him? Because I don't think that would be a valid option, and I don't think they would, because he's still under his entry level contract. So after that, he would be a restricted free agent. But I understand
Next season he'll be
the
a
concept
restricted
that
free
you're
agent.
getting at. Yeah, and maybe they're trying to leverage. Maybe they're trying to leverage that value. It's like, oh, well, you didn't play a lot of games in the NHL, so you still kind of need to prove it. So we'll give you a bridge deal of $3 million. I don't know if that's going to work here because I don't know. But yeah, Potter's just someone I don't want them to waste.
I mean, this season alone, you're going. I completely agree. And this season alone, I mean, you mentioned Lysell too. It should just be a season of the young guys. You're going into the season with zero expectations to make the playoffs. They're very slim anyways. Might as well just give them ice time and see what they can do against NHL talent. Because, I mean, realistically, maybe sneak in as the 8th playoff seed at the very best. And if you're getting development and you're getting NHL ice time for these,
they're
going to
be competing for 7th place in the division, Whitey, they're going to be competing for 7th place.
I know. I'm just saying, like in a dream scenario.
In a dream scenario, but he's absolutely right. If we're sitting here talking about how they're going to be 7th in it, right? Why not put the young guns out there and see what they can do? And it kind of shortens our quote unquote Don Sweeney retooling phase. Like, we're in a rebuild. Like, first of all. Second of all, you might as well, you have some really good young talent. You might as well put them out there, gain the knowledge that they need to, get the experience. And then when they actually have I mean, they had money this offseason, but they have even more money next season. See what works for us and build around it. And it gives you the opportunity to actually focus on the types of players that you need and the talent that you need and the positional players you need.
And you know what? That's where they'll get the points too. That's where they'll get the points, and that's why I have him in that range, 31 to 40. Like, I feel like it's very possible. Can I give an opinion
on something? The reason why you can't throw all the kids out at once, they're not going to learn enough without veteran leadership there. You got to have some veteran leadership,
I agree.
or you're doing them a disservice. Sorry,
that's why you have Janelle.
No, Rick. No, right, exactly. No, that was what I was going to bring up. No, genuinely actually mix in some veteran talent with them. And I am actually fully confident that your third line is probably going to be Jeannot, Minton, and Patra. I guarantee that's probably going to be your opening night third line. I would much probably rather have Lysell cycle in and out of the fourth line because you have guys like Asimont, Corrali, and Kostelic there who can help protect him. So I feel like that is the direction I think the Bruins are going to go, but I just don't have Lysell on this list of any of the points because I feel like he's just going to be someone who cycles in and out. And so his points prediction is going to be very hard to predict. I think Arvidsson might even cycle in and out. He might be on second line, third line. There's going to be a lot of line juggling, I think. And so I think Arvidsson getting 31 to 40 points is pretty fair. If he was consistently on the second line, I could see him maybe scoring 42 points. Maybe because he's a shooter. That's the only thing I can think. He's a natural shooter. So that's where I have it. Guys, anyone else in the 31 to 40 range? I know we kind of derailed about it, but when we talked about the kids, I mean, that's where you're going to realistically put the kids, right? Between that 30 to 40 range.
Yeah.
Anyone else you guys have?
I'm just looking at my chart right now. I mean,
Lindholm.
I did have Geeky there, but I do think that he has more upside than 30 to 40 points.
You're gonna do that, man.
I have him at like. No, I mean he's one of your best players, and he's one of the streakier guys too. Like in a good way, where like when he gets on a scoring tangent, he can keep going.
He is a Victor Bruss.
I mean, yeah, he is. I had him at 39 just for no particular reason. Just pick 39. I just didn't see him getting
specifically 39.
And then I Simon too.
Because his number's 39 too. So
exactly. Yeah, maybe that's where it came from.
Honestly, Lindholm in that range.
Hampus?
Yeah. I think he's in the 40s.
Hampus or Elias?
Hampus. I know that's a hot take. Yeah, I mean,
is it because of his knee? No, hold on. I want to ask you this: is it because of his knee? Are you just that uncertain because of his knee injury?
It's not just because of the knee injury. It just he missed a lot of last season, and I can't confidently say that he's like in game shape. And like, yeah, I mean, it has to do a little bit with his injury, which obviously will set you back. But I don't know. I have a feeling that he's not going to produce like we're all expecting him to.
I mean, he's scored 53 points in a season before. I like him a lot. I think that he's in the 40 to 50 range.
I like him.
But then the season immediately after, he only scored 26. So
yeah,
what kind?
With
It depends on what kind of Hampus Lindholm you're going to get.
And that's my question is like, what kind of Hampus Lindholm are we going to get this season? Especially missing pretty much the whole season. Like, it's just there's too many question marks for me with him. Like, I can't confidently predict it. Like, if he gets 30, 35, okay, like that's I guess that's fine for me, as long as Charlie McAvoy steps up and goes 40 to 50. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, yeah, that's where I have him too. But also, it's just like I don't have any confidence in Lindholm right now. Like, I just don't. Like, it's just a weird feeling I have.
I'm not going to necessarily disagree with that because of the way his point totals trend, but I'm also not going to knock him and say like he can't do it. I feel like so here's my delusion as a Bruins fan. If the Bruins are going to make a play for the playoffs, it's going to be on the backs of their defense. And so when we think about that, I look at the guys like Hampus Lindholm, Charlie McAvoy, Henri Jokiharju, and Mason Lohrei, because I think those four guys have the potential to put up the points. Henri Jokiharju is more of a two-way defender, and he'll put up less points. So realistically speaking, I'm looking at the Lohreis, the Hampus Lindholms, the Charlie McAvoys. I'm looking at them to be the biggest impact players. And who knows, too, because what if Hampus Lindholm swaps with Lohrei? There are some rumors out there that I have read that there is potential that Mason Lohrei will be playing with Charlie McAvoy. So where do you put Lindholm? Do you move?
I kind of love that, honestly. If you're asking me, I kind of love that rumor.
You know what that takes? But do you guys know what that would take away from Charlie? An offensive game. Charlie would then have to play a much more defensive game. I'm just hesitant to put Lohrei in that position because of what it would take away from McAvoy.
I think Lohrei just has so much upside there, though, where if you are playing, I mean, I consider Charlie McAvoy top 15 D-man of the league, maybe, I mean, with my bias, maybe top 10. But I think if you put Poitras with him, he grows, he gets the ice time as a first-line D-man, first pairing, and you get him that amount of time on the ice. And no. Did I say Poitras? Lohrei.
Lohrei with who? Sorry, McAvoy?
With McAvoy, yeah. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, okay. All right, fine. Yeah, I'm listening.
No, yeah.
So I think that I was confused. I was like, what do you mean?
Did I say Poitras?
Yeah, you mentioned Poitras. That's what I thought I heard. Maybe I'm going crazy, go ahead.
I think I said all right, but to each their own. But no, I think that if you get him on that first pairing and he's getting 23, 24 minutes of ice time, I mean, that's obviously to the higher extent, but you let him grow there. I think that he's shown flashes of, especially offensively, being a capable first pairing defensive unit. And then if you bring, I don't know, I would like to see Zadorov and Lindholm as that second pairing if Poitras does move up there. That I think
they both have a left-handed shot. They're not going to do that.
Oh, that's true. I just think you got a lot of potential there, but we'll see. I think that you have a lot of maneuverability this year with the low expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, scoring the defense is really hard. Like, I actually have McAvoy and Hampus Lindholm both in the 41 to 50 range, because I think it's possible because they've both fed off of each other very well. But I would admittedly say, again, this is me thinking perfectly healthy team and everything is going well. And with how Hampus Lindholm has moved the puck and a whole bunch of other things, we already know Charlie McAvoy can shoot the puck. We already know what he can do with the puck. My concern with Hampus Lindholm, and why I'm also even thinking about putting him in within the 30 to 40 range, is necessarily because I'm afraid of his knee. I'm definitely afraid of like what that means. So if he remains healthy, I could see him reaching 41 on the dot, no higher. maybe 42.
I think that's
a lot of these guys that I have in some of these higher tiers, like why you put Hampus Lindholm in the 31 to 40, I like why he's on the 41 to 50 for me. It's like very marginally over. Like, I'm not saying he's going to get in the middle of that range, but I think he could breach that range.
That's fair. Well, you think about it too with your aspect of if everyone's perfectly healthy, you already know that the power play is going to be McAvoy and Lindholm on the defense. Like you already know that too. So that could
because he's been impactful.
Oh, I think he's definitely an impact player on the power play. And I mean, watching last year without him, that power play kind of sucked a lot. I mean, it wasn't very good. And then when we when he was there, it did change the course of how the power play was performing. I don't know. Like, there's so much to consider, but I don't think. Again, I just have a weird feeling about him, and I don't have any confidence in his ability to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's the biggest concern for me too, is his health. You know who else I have in the 41 to 50 range? I have Casey Middlestat.
I kind of like that. I think I could see him 41, 42 on the dot. Like, I don't know. I kind of like that.
He scored in the 24-25 season, 81 games played. He scored 40 points. He wasn't working out in Colorado the way that they would have hoped. And Colorado is built different than the Boston Bruins. I just think in the Boston Bruins, because Casey Middlestat's going to spend probably the bulk of his time on the second line. Which is your biggest question? Your biggest question on the Bruins is your middle six in terms of the forward group. So find out what works. And apparently with the rumors that Middlestat might be on the move, Zacha might be on the move, Korpisalo might be on the move. There's a lot of that even further adds to the uncertainty here. But assuming that all these players stay, I'm going to put Middlestat in the 41 to 50 range. I'm also going to put Pavel Zacha in that same range as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good.
I just between Colorado and Boston last year, I think he was in the 40 points. So I don't see any regression there. I think he'll see more ice time as well. And I mean, at his peak, I think he was like a 58 for his highest output point season in the year. So just with the increased minutes and everything, I think that he could definitely be in that 40 to 50, if not even higher. I had him in the 50s to 60s.
Who, Zacha or Middlestat?
Middlestat.
I could genuinely see it if that second line was better than what it's going to be, because I foresee the second line being Middlestat, Zacha, Arvidsson, and that could be great, that could be bad, but I just see Arvidsson wanting to be the primary shooter on that line in case of Middlestat being a facilitator and Zacha just doing whatever the fuck Zacha does, because my confidence in him is, if I'm to be honest with you, Zacha has not panned out. You take Zacha away from if you have taken Zacha away from David Pastrnak, he has not performed to what you would have hoped he would be.
Yeah, but
then
again,
take Geeky away from Pastrnak.
Yeah, I mean, are you saying that based off draft pick or because he was a top 10 pick, or are you saying that just in general that he hasn't lived up to your expectations?
100% based upon where he was drafted and how he has played. He had 47 points this past season, so again, it was a down year. He had 59 points before that, 57 points before that, but then he was in the 30s and 20s. So it was a regression year. So hopefully he can continue to pick it up. But right now, which is where I think that makeup of that second line is going to be, Zacha's going to be in the 41 to 50. I'm not expecting anything major from this team this year. That's why it's literally a tryout year. So I'm trying to be reasonable with some of these point predictions. Somewhat reasonable.
Yeah, I'm just high on Zacha. I like Pavel Zacha. I think that he's grown throughout each of the seasons that he's been in Boston. I know last year he was 12 points less than in 23-24, but I don't know. I'm high on Zacha.
I think he just needs to step up.
I think he does need to step up, and I think that's going into the season. I think he probably realizes he needs to step up if he wants to continue playing, because at the end of the day, we all have low expectations for this team, but the team doesn't have. Again, Cam nearly said it. The expectation is to try to win a Stanley Cup, right? So what does that mean for the players? So it means
expectation versus reality.
I mean, well, expectations versus reality is a real thing, but you have to look at it from the team standpoint. When the president of the organization is saying we're trying to contend for a cup, hey, like you gotta put out, you gotta try hard. That's just what it is. And I think I'm higher on Zaka this year as opposed to last year, because again, last year the whole team sucked. The whole team was just kind of not there. So I mean, and again, we don't have high expectations here, but if management is breathing down your neck saying, hey, this is the expectations, and if you're not performing, we're going to have to figure out what to do with you, it might light a fire under their asses.
Yeah. I mean, he's on my list. I wrote a blog about it a couple of weeks ago. I think it was like, the who from Cub to Bear, who's the next person up. Pavel Zacha's on my list of who needs to. Like, I mean, Fabian Lysell is also on the list on who needs to. And then, like, versus like who's expected to by the organization, right? Like Charlie McAvoy, you're going to expect him to continue to grow his leadership skills. Matthew Potter, Fraserman, Tanner Jeannot, they're expected. And Mason Laurie, they're expected to kind of take that. But the absolute need, definitely Pavel Zacha, Fabian Lysell, and then there's one other one that we'll get to once we mention his name. But I don't know. So I'm sorry. Did you guys agree that he's in the 41 to 50 range, or would you put him higher, Steve? Like
I had him in the 50s.
All right,
I
so
have
yeah,
him
Steven, why do you have in the 50s?
I don't have him in the 50s, actually. I have him where you have him. But I think he's on the higher end of that, maybe 48, closer to 50.
He's close.
Yeah, he's close to that 50 mark. I just don't think he's going to break 50. Because, again, I the thing that keeps replaying in my mind is how much the lines are going to be changed up to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And if you're wasting 2 months of the season figuring out what works, that doesn't really give you a great opportunity to it doesn't give you that much time to be able to make that impact to get to over 50 to 51 or whatever it was. But I think he's closer to 50 points, and if he's around 50, I think that's a great success, as Borat would say.
Great success.
50 points. 50 points. Great success. Young Jamash, like you. No, well, then we'll go into the 51 to 60 range since we're already there. So I have the only person for me there is Geeky. I think he repeats his performance from last year, but I think he might also be someone that moves up and down the lineup. And I know a lot of people have been out there and said like, oh, it's going to be difficult for them to rip Geeky away from Pasternak. I'm like, yeah, that also might be true, but you also have to consider that he's a natural right winger. So they might put Zacha back with Pasternak or a Lindholm if it works out better, and like if Geeky just had a one-off, and maybe they have Geeky as the second line center, or maybe they put Geeky back down to the third line right wing and elevate Patra. I just feel like there's going to be a lot, and so I think Geeky with his skill set is going to be relied upon so much to help go get other lines going that he's going to be kind of like a journeyman up and down the lineup. I that's my only fear with him, is that they're going to circulate him just to see if he can spark other lines to score.
I mean, also, it depends on like how bad your face-off help is, right? Like it depends. If someone's getting constantly beat, you might have to shift them down, and have Pasternak make up the difference. I mean, obviously not on the face-off dot, but in play. But I hot take, I love Geeky with Pasta. I think whatever connection that they have with each other is really, really good. And one of the only bright sides to this organization for the season. I don't think you can mess with it too much. I have no doubt opening that lineup, it's going to be Pasta and Geeky on the line, because it's obviously been proven to work. Pasta doesn't break 100 points last season without the help of Geeky, right? You know what I mean? Like I think they're very much kind of intertwined, and who knows what the new coaching and all that stuff. I think he's kind of more of a playmaker, though. Like he gets in.
Rick,
go ahead.
Rick, could you actually look up a stat for me for last year while we discuss this topic and see what other player on a non-playoff team scored 100 points? Could you try and look that up for me? Because I'm actually curious to see if there was another player.
I was going to say, to my recollection, I think I seen it on Twitter that I think just because of that alone, Pasta should have been higher in the Hart contention because I think he was the only one that was on a non-playoff team that scored over 100 points.
Yeah, Rick,
wrong.
if you don't mind, looking that up for me while all right, thank you. And sorry, Steve, go ahead. Yeah, your point to the Geeky and Pasta connection that we saw, I agree. Pasta might have had some difficulty getting to 106 points.
And you know what? And the thing is, if you know your line mate is going to be getting into the right position, it makes it a lot easier to set up an assist, right? I mean, or if you know that Geeky likes to look at the ice a certain way, and you know where Pasta is going to be, it's a lot easier for Pasta to tap it right in, right? Like I think they just understand each other on the ice and they know where they're going, and that has to do a lot with chemistry. And I think if you take
it helps tip the ice in your favor. It helps tilt the ice in your favor. I agree. Yeah.
Of course, exactly. You got to maximize that because, again, if we have low expectations for this team, you gotta get the most out of your players that you can to try to manage expectations and say that you're doing all you can.
I'm looking at the points from last season. He was the only one that broke 100 that wasn't in the playoffs. It was Kucherov, McKinnon, Draisaitl, Marner, McDavid, and Pasta. And Pasta was the only one that obviously didn't make the playoffs out of that group.
You got it before I did.
And
Kyle Connor didn't break 100. But Winnipeg still made it. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Crosby had 91, and he was the next person on the list that was even in that upper echelon that didn't make the playoffs. So everyone else
that's nuts.
is in there.
Do you guys remember the Danny Heatley 1507?
No.
Okay, it's a big it was a Twitter thing where it was just Danny Heatley scored 50 goals in 07, but I'm on Team Geeky 50 and 25, and that's 25 points, not goals. But
I thought you were saying goals.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But if he gets to 50 points, I'm going to be ecstatic because was last season the first season? Like he's had very good progression, like a trend upwards, right? Like every season he's gotten more points than his previous season, right? He's on. Was it 30 or 40 points last year? I can't remember.
He had 57 points last year.
Yeah, he's only grown. He's got 22, 28, 39, 57.
Yeah, there you go.
He started playing in 2019, 2020. He went from 4 points to 9 points to 22 to 28 to 39 to 57. So, yes, you're right. He is on an upward trajectory. That is a trend. Let's see if it can continue.
Whitey, you're looking at the stats right now. How many goals did he have? Did he break 30 goals?
He had 33 last year.
He had 33.
Yeah. So if he gets 40 goals this year, every year, right? 40, and then a couple of years, maybe 50 and 27. Who knows? We'll see what we can do.
And that was in 17 minutes.
I just have a heart. Well, it's 17 minutes average ice time. So which is a lot of time on the ice. I don't think he's a 40 goal scorer. I think he's a 20 to 30 goal scorer. And I think that's fine. I think that's fine, but I don't see him as a 40 goal. Maybe he hits it once in his career. Maybe I don't see him. Maybe, yeah, he would have to play with an elite player like Pasta because I don't think Geeky's that needle mover. But I'd be elated to see him get it there. I have him at 51 to 60 points. Because he will be playing with Pasternak. He could have the potential to go maybe 61 to 62 points. I don't think he's gonna go that much higher than 60 points though. If he breaks it,
yeah,
I'd be elated if he did.
57 points on a gutted Bruins team after the trade deadline is pretty impressive. So, and especially if he's getting that first line minutes with Pasta. And ideally, I think if you have Morgan Geeky on your team, he's going to be a second line forward. But within this organization and where the trajectory is with the Boston Bruins, I think that him being a first line center, I think he could break 60 points, no problem. Not no problem, but I think that he has the capability of doing it.
I do too.
Because I think we discussed pretty much everyone except for two players, and so there's only two categories left. And so the 61 to 70 range is people might ostracize me for this, but I do have Elias Lindholm there. He really started to figure it out post trade deadline, and as the season got later. He really started to quickly gel with David Pastrnak and Morgan Geekie. He started to show signs of his former self. I'm hoping he can bank on that. I don't know where, and I can't remember where I heard this from, so I apologize that I don't have my source available. But I heard that he mentioned he was suffering through some kind of nagging injury throughout the 24-25 season. So hopefully this offseason of rest, he's able to come back and get after it. I don't know if you guys will necessarily agree with me. If you guys have him in the 71 plus range, then I think you're crazy. But I think 61 to 70 would be fair for a guy like him right now.
No, yeah, I entirely agree. I mean, he was a point per game player for his season in Calgary, like literally actually 82 points on the button. But if he's manning that first line, him, Geeky, and Pasta, I think that as long as you have Pasta on your right wing, you're going to be getting points regardless, just out of the nature of the beast of having Pasta up there. Mm-hmm. So just having him there, and hopefully he just stays healthy. And like you said, he did play all 82 games last year. I think that he has the potential to be in the 60s to 70s. He's only done it twice, I believe. No, 3 times. So the potential's there. He's had 78, 82, and 64 his 3 highest years. So I could see him being in the 60s, but for the majority of his career, he's been like a 40-ish point scorer. So it would just have to be that consistency of getting first line ice time and playing with Pasta next to him. But I had him there too. I had him in the 60s, 70s as well.
I think I'm.
And he had a solid year in the faceoff dot.
He did have a solid.
Yeah, he was a 55%. That's nothing to shake a bat at.
Yeah, exactly. I had him with Geeky though. I did have him in that range.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the potential is there definitely. He needs to stay healthy though.
Mm-hmm.
I just think again playing with Pasta, he has a good opportunity to be right around 60, probably 59, 60. I just couldn't go and confidently put him, closer to that 70 button, 65 button. I think 60 is a good target for him this year.
I agree. The only thing why I have him so high on that is because last year his passing was great. No one could bury a puck to save their life. Now, could you put that on Lindholm? Because he's more of a facilitator. He's a two-way forward. He's a passer. He's not a shooter. So I blame half of his lack of point production on the fact that none of our Bruins could, one, land a shot on net, let alone behind it. So it's like that's why I have him so high. But I agree, Steve. Like he could be between, honestly, 50 to 70 points. Anywhere between there. I think that's it depends on how his team finish.
And then you kind of cut it in half and call the median, right? 60. I think that's a fair target for a guy like him right now. As long as people around him start burying the fucking puck, he'll get the points. Like at the end of the day, we couldn't bury like your point. We couldn't bury the puck, and that hinders a lot of people's point production. But if we get someone, if he's playing around people who can do that, it should be, right around 60. I don't think he's going to score that many goals. I think he'll score. He'll have decent production scoring, but
he'll score 20.
He'll score. Yeah, exactly. Like that's where I would put him, 20, 25, as long as he's playing with the right people. But he's a facilitator, like you said, and I think 60 is a really good target for him, and that's just why I couldn't put him into that range where you both put him.
I mean, a bare minimum, I think you want your first line center getting 50 points, no problem. So, not that would be a disappointment if he didn't get it, just based off the nature of this year's Bruins team. But I think that you need him scoring at least 50 if you're going to contend for anything at all.
Yep.
Even if I can't have a Jack Hughes or like a point scoring first line center, then my expectation for my first line center is be a two-way forward, be a complete 200-foot player, pass the puck, be a breakout guy. If you're not getting the points, but you're winning the faceoffs and you're being an impact player in other ways other than scoring points, I'm okay with that. Because if you're going to tell me you have a 58%, like let's just say he just had a 55% faceoff win percentage. If he had a 58 win percentage and he's only scoring 40 points, but he's a big plus player, and he's making impactful plays, but he's just not doing enough to get a touch on the puck to pass it, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with conceding that he's playing at that elite level. He's just not past the one dishing the puck. He's doing other things. at that point, you're a role player.
To your point, when you're winning 55% of your faceoffs, that puts you in line to be power play 1 center, right?
Yep.
If you're on the power play, you want him to win that faceoff so you can generate a scoring opportunity. You know what I mean? So he'll maybe get, even if it's win the faceoff, win it back to the D, go sit your ass in front of the net and for a screen and maybe taps them in. That's a very high possibility for him.
Yeah. He's no small guy either. I don't believe. Yeah, he's 6'1", 202.
Yeah, he can screen a lot of goalies in there. What were you going to say, Whitey?
I was just saying that in Patrice Bergeron's best year, he was a 62.3% face-off guy, and Elias Lindholm's kind of close to that. So, I mean, he's got the face-off numbers to be a top-line center. It's just a matter of putting everything together.
Mm-hmm. A 7% difference in the NHL, I would say, in this case, or when you talk about sports stats, that's kind of big.
It's only 4, 58 to 62. And
that's at their top years. It's still
their top years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's still hard, but no, I agree. I agree there.
I mean, it's the top end of the spectrum.
Yeah, of course, I agree.
Yeah.
And then of course, lastly, guys, David Pastrnak, 71 plus points, easy. I didn't want to put I think 71 plus after all of that is pretty fair because they're going to score anywhere between 71 and 100 points at least. It's kind of hard to gauge that. Because once you start talking 71 plus points, I think you're a superstar in the league or something along those lines. You know what I mean? You're definitely a first liner.
I think it comes down to if I'm just curious between the three of us, if we see him breaking 100, and I do. I'm curious what you guys think.
Okay, we can go. I'll go after you.
I see him breaking 100, but not by much. I don't see him going. I see him getting less than or equal to what he got last year, which was 106 points. I find it hard to think there'll be a non-playoff team again and he puts up the same number, the crazy amount of points that he put up. I find it hard to think that he'll break 106. I think he'll break 100, but it's going to be close. Excuse me, it's going to be close.
I don't think that he's going to break 100.
What did you have him at? Just curious.
Honestly, I mean, I have him close. Don't get me wrong. I have him pretty close. About 95 points. I mean, he's trending. He's trending downwards in production. Just again, following the trend, and also just with the state of the Bruins. Did we really expect him to break 100 points last year? No. I mean, he did it anyways to prove it as a fuck you, right? I am that guy, but I don't think he has it. And again, this comes down to the line juggling, right? He'll get close to that 100 mark, but if he's being screwed over by the juggling of the lines and not playing with someone consistently, I think that'll end up hurting his point production, and he won't be able to break 100.
Yeah, I think naturally, just on paper, the Bruins aren't going to be the same team, or they're not going to be a very good team. But he's played 82 games in the past 3 seasons, so full seasons the past 3 years. So I don't know. I just don't see
it's not the games
point
for
drop
me.
Off.
It's not the games for me because I'm expecting him to be a point per game player, anyways. I just don't know if he'll break.
It's the talent. Yeah, I agree with Steve that the concern is that the talent surrounding him, and if Sturm decides to just continuously line juggle, I don't think they're going to do that. It hasn't worked. They know it doesn't work. They'll speak out against it. I'm confident in that. But if it does happen, then I could see a realm where Pastrnak gets close to 100 but doesn't necessarily break it. But if he plays consistently with Geekie and Lindholm, well, then I could see him breaking it because they'll need to figure it out. That's going to be up to them. So I think you ride. I think you ride with that line through the entire year. And if you have to get another line going, you pick one person, you move, and it's probably going to be Geekie. Don't move Lindholm. Continue to build that relationship with Pastrnak because until James Higgins is ready, you're going to be your number one center. That's my thoughts on it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I think 100 points is reachable. But everything that Steve said is also just as equally as important to say. If the line juggling happens, Pasternak's not reaching in. Go ahead.
It was just so sad at the end of the year last year when Pasta would score a goal and it'd be like a nice one-timer off the dot, and he'd score and then just basically put his head down because he knew where the Bruins were at in the standing. So he deserves better, and I'm hoping that maybe we can be a sneaky team that outperforms the expectations this year.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I would love it. Actually, no, tank. I want Gavin McKenna. Tank. But we all know Pittsburgh's going to get him. We all know Pittsburgh's going to get him. Everyone and their mother knows that Pittsburgh is going to get him. There's no way they don't. Every 21 years they had Lemieux, right? Pittsburgh, and then 21 years later, or something like that, they got Crosby, and then it's now another X amount of years later. They're gonna get fucking Gavin McKenna. I'm gonna want to just bash my head off a wall.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this as a sidetrack. Where do you think the Penguins are going to lie in the standings? Like, if you really think they're going to win them.
I saw this graphic where people had the Penguins winning 40 games.
That's crazy.
And I was like, who made that list? Who made that list, and why did you make that list? Because that list is wrong. Who's gonna lose to the Penguins that many times? I know no one's gonna play them 40 times, but like how many? What? I think the Penguins are in deep shit. Like I think they're in deep shit. Sidney Crosby's not going to be able to pull off whatever the fuck he pulls off. He's getting older. He's still Sidney Crosby. Evgeny Malkin is okay, I guess, but Chris Letang has had 2 strokes. And then you're paying Erik Karlsson $10 million. Where's your point production coming from? And Tristan Jarry sucks. So
and you got Connor Clifton getting significant ice time there as their second pair D-man.
Did Penguins, or does the guy, the guy who made the graphic must have been a Penguins fan? That had to have been. I'm like, look at the other teams around you in the Metro. That are getting better. Columbus, for example, Philadelphia is getting better. They're probably going to take a small step forward this year. Pittsburgh's going to be 7th or 8th place in their division. They're not going to be fighting for a playoff spot. They're not better than Washington. They're not better than Carolina. They're not better than.
Okay, Islanders, so you answered my original question.
The Islanders, actually, I don't know that better than the Islanders, but like.
We can edit that clip to say that Philadelphia is going to be better than them, just for Alex's sake.
Just for Alex, we can do it. Sorry, Steve. Did I go on that rant way too long?
No, I mean it was fine. But you eventually answered 7th or 8th, which I think 7th is realistic. But I was just curious. Like it was kind of a bold statement to say McKenna's going to Pittsburgh, and I kind of want to know a little bit why you felt that way.
It's just NHL magic.
Oh, it was just it was the meme. Because there was another graphic that said 21 years after Lemieux they got Crosby, and it's been 21 years since they got Crosby. So ipso facto, it's bullshit. Like you know what I mean? Like they've bred superstars. So who knows? But I swear, if Pittsburgh gets Gavin McKenna, like the NHL needs to investigate that. That's weird. Like that, you got to admit that's weird. Like especially the year with how Edmonton got Connor McDavid, and then Buffalo by far had the worst record. Like it looks very fishy.
I mean, Chicago getting Bedard, that was fishy to me too. Like the NHL does play some weird magic games, in my opinion.
So maybe the Bruins get freaking lucky, and if we finish 14th, we pull the New York Islanders and get the first overall pick, and then you will see me out front of Warrior Ice Arena, spray painting McKenna on my back, and I will be butt cheek naked. So excited.
I'm quoting you on this. It's recorded.
I'm going to be yeah. It's
what was that?
Yeah, I would be elated because then you're going to have McKenna, Higgins, and Pasternak, and I will buy season tickets. Fair. That would just be crazy. So, but it's not going to happen because that's a freaking pipe dream.
It is, and it's okay to believe.
I don't think it's that much of a pipe dream. If like we mentioned this whole podcast, you're juggling lines, the expectations aren't high. I could see you ending up exactly where you were this year with a top 6, top 7 to get to win the lottery. And I mean, if the Balls and I mean the lottery balls fall correctly in our favor, then I could see the Bruins. And I mean, if you're lucky, could be there. The odds aren't against us this year.
Dude, anything is possible. Kevin Garnett, circa was it 2007?
It was 2008.
Oh wait,
Anything is
2008.
possible.
Kevin Garnett. Yeah, this is my dog. I named him Kevin Garnett. You're an asshole. No. All right, guys, we've had some fun. So let's actually go into our Mount Rushmore for Bruins. Who actually wants to go first with theirs? I actually have the graphics that I can pop up. So does anyone actually feel very strongly about their Mount Rushmore? And we're also going to have our wonderful director in Rick share his Mount Rushmore Bruins too. Despite him being a Montreal fan, he actually gives credit to some Bruins players, and I was quite thoroughly impressed with that. So Rick, thank you for taking the time to create yours and share that with us. Actually, Rick, why don't we start with you?
yeah, let's start with Rick.
Well, how are we going to do this? One at a time, or my whole thing?
No, just tell us your whole thing. Who's your four players on Mount Rushmore?
Okay, I'm going to go backwards from my number 4, Terry O'Reilly. I'll give you my reasons. Terry O'Reilly in my day was just a son of a bitch to have to play against. He was always involved and always like I hated him. So, but gotta respect him. Number 3, and the guy you couldn't get this afternoon, Brad Park. Great defenseman.
Okay.
Again, every game we play again, and we played a lot of games against you guys in series and stuff. So, but Brad Park, great defenseman, just a great defenseman. Number 2, another defenseman, and of course, gotta have Ray Bourque. So Ray Bourque is number 2, and then number 1, Bobby Orr, greatest player to ever lace up skates. That's all I can say. I saw him. I've seen him, not live, but I saw him on TV many times. And I literally saw him kill a penalty. I don't think anybody else touched the puck.
His skating ability was absolutely unbelievable.
Just the ability to hold the puck. You couldn't take it away. His puck protection skill was beyond anybody.
I'll give Rick a ton of credit because normally all he does is shit on me for being a Bruins fan, and he shits on the Bruins. But he does give credit where credit is due. So when he asked if he could share his Mount Barrymore with us, I was like, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, I was curious. I knew 2 of the guys that you were gonna pick on there. I knew you were gonna pick Bourque or I was kind of surprised you picked O'Reilly, and Bob Park I was actually even more surprised for. But yeah, I give you tons of credit. And I like the reasoning too. The reasoning was really good. I think you'll find similar reasoning to our elections as well, guys. Let's do. Hey,
thanks for having me. By the way,
no, you're welcome. Yeah, thanks. You're a very special guest. Whitey, boom, explain it.
All right. So I had this is no particular order. I had Patrice Bergeron. I mean, just the longevity alone, the 6 Selkies alone, and this kind of goes into our next topic afterwards. But I think he just epitomized what it was to be a Bruin. His leadership, he's had the A on his chest, and then thank God he got the center. And I'm captain. I'm wearing his jersey right now. I think that he's undeniably a Boston Bruin through and through. Never played on another team. He was key to every Stanley Cup run that we had. So had him there, just his leadership, his offensive capabilities, his clutch moments, that goal or the 2 goals in 2013 in Game 7. Was it 1 or 2? No, it was just a 1 in Game 7 against the Maple Leafs. He did graduate this year or last year to retirement. So I'm happy for him. The next, obviously, you got to go with Bobby Orr. He was entirely game changing. He reinvented the position. His, like Rick said, his skating, his offensive creativity, just the way that he was a Boston Bruin. I know it was sad that he couldn't finish his career with us, but I wish I was alive to see him play. But just based off numbers alone, based off historical stature alone, he's just undeniably probably the best D-man to ever play, offense and defense. He won the 8 consecutive Norris Trophy, 2 Conn Smythes, just absolutely unbelievable. And speaking about defensemen, I think you got to go with Zdeno Chara. the way that he flipped the culture here in Boston for the 6 seasons ish of my
Wait,
first.
You added Zdeno Chara?
Yeah, Zdeno Chara is on my list.
Shit, I must have had the wrong thing. I can't remember who that is up there that I put on your thing. Then, well, we're just gonna call it Zdeno Chara. All right, sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. I think that he was a captain for 14 years, just absolutely unbelievable as a defensive captain. He anchored so many terrific defenses. He made Dennis Seidenberg look like a top 10 defenseman in the league. Just absolutely unbelievable. His size, his shooting capability, just the strength of it. He won 2 or 3 in a row of the hardest shot competitions in the league. He was unbelievable as well. I don't think that the Bruins do any of our accomplishments in the teens, the Stanley Cup in 2011, making the Cup in 13 and 19. I don't think any of that happens without Chara. And then lastly, this one was tricky. I was considering Terry O'Reilly, but I think you just got to go with Ray Bourque for longevity, all-time NHL shot leader, which I didn't know until I did a little bit of research into this. He has the most shots on net of any player in the NHL of all time. I think it was 21 seasons with the Bruins. He went to a couple cups, just unfortunate that he couldn't win it here. Glad we threw him the parade when he won it with Colorado. But, I got 3 defensemen up there. It's kind of wild. But honorable mentions, Espo, Neely, Busick, and Terry O'Reilly. They're all –
This is a fucking report card?
They're all Bruins through and through. They all could have easily been that 4th spot, but I'm going with Chara or Bergeron and Bourque.
It's fair. It's a good list. It's a good list.
And I saw Ray Bourque at breakfast the other day too, so maybe that changed my mind a little bit.
Steve, you're up next, buddy, for your Mount Barrymore of Bruins.
True. Full disclosure, I did change these up after thinking about this and contemplating this for a while.
You're such a cock.
I know. I know. I'm sorry. But I'll explain to everybody why I have the people I have up there. So obviously Orr's up there, changed the game for the defensive position, right? Realistically, the first offensive defenseman in the league. Bourque, longevity, 21 seasons, all-time shot leader. I remember sitting in my parents' bedroom with the AC on in the middle of a super hot summer day, watching him win the Stanley Cup, and that was obviously very important. And everyone was happy for Bourque finally winning it. Chara in there. His leadership ability is, unmatched. Ask anybody in the league, he's up there. And then I had Jerry Cheevers because his mask is iconic. And also he is the last goaltender for the Boston Bruins to win multiple Stanley Cups. I think that's it just shows his win rate. But I did think about this, and I would probably remove Chara and Cheevers and make them honorable mentions. And put up Bergeron for his 6 Selkies, his longevity of his career as a Boston Bruin, through and through. The kid was 18 when he came up here, didn't speak a word of English, and kind of really grew up in Boston as an adult. And then I also put Esposito up there because from 1970 to 1976, he was a motherfucking problem. Multiple Stanley Cup wins. And if you look back at who holds the records for most goals scored in the Bruins franchise, per season, he holds the top 5. And in the 5th place, he has it split with Pasta. And for solid 5 seasons, he was a problem for the league in his just overall scoring ability. So he holds those records. But another honorable mention would probably be Chief. But that's what I'm going with.
Can I correct something?
Wow. Go ahead.
When you said Bobby Orr, the first true offensive defenseman, that's not actually true. Bobby Orr wouldn't have been Bobby Orr without Doug Harvey. Doug Harvey probably is the first one that was an offensive defenseman. I just had to say that, and it's not because he's a Hab, but I say that Bobby Orr wouldn't be Bobby Orr without Doug Harvey. He changed the game. Bobby Orr changed it even more.
Who had more of an impact, you think?
Oh, I would say both. I would have to say
this
both.
fucking guy
Probably
was
Bobby
so
Orr a
fucked.
little more. Bobby Orr probably a little more. But Doug Harvey had a tremendous impact. That's all.
No, I mean it's a good list, Steve. I actually agree with it. I fucks with it. Mine was a little different. Mine was hard. I kind of assessed mine based on a couple things. One, who they were as a Bruin, who they were to me, but also I kind of wanted to. I thought about it. I'm like, who would I want out on the ice in a 3v3 situation? So in a way, I treated my Mount Rushmore as who I would want that ideal team. What I would want that team to kind of look like in kind of an arcade mode. And for me, my four, and again, this is in no particular order. Phil Esposito, he was an absolute monster when he played for the Boston Bruins. Great player, top 100 NHL player, Hall of Famer, just screams Bruin, always screamed Bruin. There's not much else to be said about this guy. Next up, I have Tuukka Rask. He's the winningest goaltender in Boston Bruins history. He's been to 3 Stanley Cup finals, won one of them as a backup. I know it was as a backup, but he was still there. His name is still in the cup. I don't blame 2013 and 2019 on him at all. That might be a hot take for some people, but I just don't. And he's a very respectable goaltender in all of NHL history, and with respect to NHL the Bruins history as well. So you got to put some respect on that name for him. There are some great goaltenders that never win a cup. Henrik Lundqvist is a perfect example of such. And then I have Patrice Bergeron. The Chara lineage was very strong. People could say what they want about Marchand. People could say what they want about Bergeron, but I feel like the lineage of what Chara brought to the locker room was strong. And Bergeron, what he did for not only the Boston Bruins, but the Boston community as a whole, and who he was as an individual. Again, bringing a Stanley Cup back to Boston after 39 long years. It's kind of arguably the best two-way forward to ever play the game with his six Selke trophies. Did I say six? It's just like a perfect scenario for me to have him on there. And then, of course, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Bobby Orr. He helped redefine the game. Like what Rick and Whitey had said, redefine what it meant to be a defenseman. The day Bobby Orr flew when we beat, I believe it was the St. Louis Blues in 1971. Was it 71 he flew, I believe? 1970?
72.
Sorry.
72.
And so that was just a day in history that, is even not just ingrained in Boston hockey history, but NHL hockey history too. Like if you go watch NHL Network, it's some of it's in their intros, like hid the picture of him flying.
One of my favorite all-time hockey pictures. That one.
That has to be the most iconic shots of all time in the NHL. It has to be. I can't think of anything else that comes close.
Yeah, agreed.
Sidney Crosby crying's one, but that's besides the point.
Well, for me, it goes right up there with the Patrick Roy wink.
Yeah.
That's how iconic I see that as.
Yeah. But that's our Mount Rushmores, guys. I mean, it was fun to do. We're in 2025. The Bruins have been around for at least 100 years. That's a lot of players. So to be able to pick just 4 of them from an organization that has that much of a longevity was really difficult. But again, this is just our opinions. But fans out there, let us know who would you have picked? Would you have changed something on us? Do you agree with us? Do you have your own list? Like, is there just certain players that you wish you could have? My honorable mentions, definitely Terry O'Reilly. People are gonna probably belittle me for not having Ray Bourque, aka the captain. Like, you know what I mean? Because he was the captain of the Bruins for 19, 20 years or something along those lines. Again, this is just the way I thought of it was different.
Well, to
So
be
maybe
fair to be fair to you, I think if we revisit this with the mentality that you had under it, with hey, if you have to pick the Mount Rushmore based on 3v3 game, include a goaltender, who are you putting up there? I think that's an interesting take on the top four, right? Because you got to include a goalie on that, and I think that's a very interesting take overall. If it's like, hey, our best 3 plus a goalie versus your best 3 in a goalie, figure it out, right? Like, I think that's very interesting. I think my approach, and White, I'm not going to speak for you, but I think our approach is much different, where it's just, hey,
100.
Who the top 4 guys, like when you think of a Mount Rushmore, like who built it, who changed the game, who did these things. And I think if we were to do this later again with the 3v3, pick your top 4 guys all time and come back to us, I think both of us would have kind of a much different
easy. Yeah, and that's the whole point of this. I like take this and what you do with it. Like, be creative with it. Like, guys, like, please, like, fans, comment down in the comment section. Let us know, like, how would you take this? How would you build your Mount Rushmore? What would you base it off of?
Just one last quick tidbit. You just mentioned Ray Bourque and him being the captain and just captaincy. Absolutely wild that Bobby Orr was never a captain for the Boston Bruins. Just insane. It's too bad. Well, it was just Busick the whole time, but
it was can't knock Chief off.
Yeah, you can't. Just crazy how long he's with the Bruins, and it's too bad that his knees betrayed him at the end. But I mean, just the numbers that he put up for what he did in a career cut short. I think there's not too much debate that he's probably the best defenseman of all time in the NHL.
You want another wild fact about Bobby Orr?
Shoot it.
He played his entire career, retired, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame all before Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey, retired.
He played till 53, right?
Yeah, he played.
Yeah, he's nuts, dude. He played with his sons.
Yep.
Yeah, with the Whalers. Yeah.
WHA.
It's nuts.
Houston Aeros.
Like, good for him. Honestly, good. No one could do that now. No one could do that nowadays. Like,
I think the game's much different than when he was playing as well.
I mean, Yager's been the only one that's come close to it, and he's still playing. And I think he's still with the KHL, right? Isn't he still skating over there?
I thought he moved back to Czech.
He officially retired.
Is he officially
retired?
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yep.
Can I give one last?
He played until almost his 50s.
Can I give one last Bobby Orr fact that was amazing about him? He had tremendous skill, like everything, but he could do everything at full speed. Shoot, pass, take a pass, everything at full speed. That was one of the most amazing things about him.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Rick, feel free to join us in this next discussion. Rick, feel free to join us in this next discussion as we move on to the final topic. And we hope you guys actually stuck around for this, because this is going to be a little bit of a debate, and it's been a hotly contested topic for the 2010s. And it's something that Bruins fans and LA Kings fans will probably die on their hill for, is who would you rather have if you had to pick between one of these two players? And these two players are Bergeron or Hans Kopitar. These are some of the most decorated two-way forwards in the 2010s. Now, mind you, Hans Kopitar is still playing, but they have had spectacular careers. And the debate starts now. Somebody say something. Because my announcement might shock you. At least with how I would say it.
You want to lead off, so say something.
I would argue that Hans Kopitar has had the better career in terms of points, somewhat in terms of trophies because of the 2 cups compared to 1, but Bergeron was the better player.
So who are you taking overall?
But I would take Bergeron on that alone, with him being the better player. I think Kopitar had less to work with than Bergeron, but Bergeron also made himself with where he was drafted.
That's kind of where I landed as well. I mean, just looking strict, like if you didn't take anything else into consideration except for looking at both their careers on the internet and just looking at cups, points, games played, I mean, Kopitar is the choice. But then when you take in all the intangibles that Bergeron brought to the table, and I know Kopitar was the leading center. I mean, absolutely unbelievable on the 2 cup runs that they had in LA. But one could argue that Jonathan Quick was just a brick wall in net for both those 2 runs.
Stole it for them.
He did. He just between that and then Bergeron winning the 6 Selkies. He was 38 when the Bruins broke the points record in 22. It's just he was just such a crucial part of the Bruins for over 20 years. And I know that Kopitar is getting up there in the longevity as well. I just think that, to me anyways, in this Bruins podcast, you got to give the nod to Bergeron for the intangibles that he brought to the table and how much that the Bruins wouldn't be the Bruins without him.
I would like to preface this that just because this is a Bruins podcast, and I know, Whitey, you'll agree with this as well, is that there are going to be times when we do this that I am not going to pick a Bruin. And this was almost one of those times that I was strongly considering it. I was teetering on the line, but I genuinely think that Bergeron, and it's not by much, guys. I'm telling you, it's not by much. Like, we're talking about a tit hair. Like, that, shout out to Alex for the quote. But, like, it was very close. But I have to go with who I think is the better player, not with the person who just so happened to have the better career.
No, I entirely agree. And then, Kopitar is one of my favorite players. Basically growing up with him, I think I was like 15 when he came on the scene in the mid 2000s, like between 00 and 2010. But between the Bruins and the Kings, those were my 2 favorite teams to play with in the NHLs back then, just like NHL 2010, the EA game. I loved Kopitar. I think he's an amazing player. I'd loved to see him in the black and gold at some point in his career, but he is a great player. Like I said before, I don't think that the Bruins are the Bruins and had any of the accomplishments that we had throughout the past 20 years without him.
Yeah. At the end of the day, this was very close when you try to compare stats and everything like that. I mean, yeah, like Kopitar, I would consider a great player, right? 2-time Stanley Cup champion. He's won these trophies. He's proven himself to be one of the all-time great centers in the league, right? I mean, you don't get there without having some skill or ability. But at the end of the day, I think the 6-time Selke winner, Patrice Bergeron, it says a lot when you win that trophy 6 times. And I know I'm going to piss off a lot of fans that aren't Bruins fans, but I think there's a case that Patrice Bergeron should have won more than 6 Selkies. I mean, especially, I truly feel that in 2013, when it came down to Taves and Bergeron, the only reason why they gave it to Taves is because they beat the Bruins in the Stanley Cup final. But at the same time, there was other years where I truly felt that Patrice Bergeron was the better player and a better 2-way forward, and he should have gotten hot take 8 Selkies. He should have got.
I think he should got. Sorry.
Good.
No, I was just going to chime in real quick. I think that 2020, when Couturier won it, I think that Bergeron had it that year, and then same thing the year afterwards with the year before with Ryan O'Reilly. I think that Ryan O'Reilly got it because they won the cup. But.
Same.
Yeah, you added what, 2 more to that? So,
yeah, that'd be the 8. Yeah,
8, 9. I mean, for real, he should have had. I would say safely 8, but I mean 9 sounds pretty good too. Like overall, he should have had between 8 and 9, and he only got 6.
And he was
again,
also nominated 11 times. 11 times.
Doesn't he have the record of the most times consecutively nominated?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Would it be a stretch to say that
Yes,
he's the
it does.
best two-way center of all time? I don't think so. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that would even be that close.
He's certainly up there. He's definitely certainly up there. I don't know if I'm ready to concede that yet. I still think Kopitar makes his case. I really do. I don't want to just sell him short, but he's definitely in that conversation with Bergeron.
I think Bob Gainey and maybe Datsuk are in the conversation as well, but I don't think that. I think
Datsuk if he didn't leave the NHL.
And I don't think you can put Gainey there as much as I love him. I don't think he had the offense to be put there.
He had 4 Selkies in a row, though.
But I think it was a little different in his day. I think they went to a little bit more scoring later on. So if you look at the modern day, I don't think Gainey would qualify. But you're right, he did win 4.
I mean, I think it's obviously safe to say he's top 3 all time, but I think we have to take it in generations of hockey, right? Like we really can't compare, the House to the Bobby Orrs to the Wayne Gretzky's, because it was much different, games of playing. Like they all have contributed their skills and their abilities in changing the game forever. So that next generation up, when they were seeing Bobby Orr play, it changed the next generation of defensemen, right? When Wayne Gretzky came on the ice, he changed the way, an offensive minded player with a ton of skill in how they went behind the net, right? Like they just changed the game. And it's hard to compare those guys when they're, especially with the curves today and the goalie pads today. Like there's a lot of factors that go into it. Like it's hard to compare these guys, like especially from just different generations. But I mean, he's arguably top 3. I mean, he's probably number 2. I think Datsuk is probably up there at number 1. And that's not trying to be like an asshole, but I think Datsuk, his abilities were unbelievable.
I would agree with Datsuk only if he did not leave the NHL. That is the biggest problem I have, is that he left the NHL. That makes it difficult for me to concede the fact that, because he left for a period of time, he came back, he still played at an elite level, but at the same time, I'm just like, he could have been, right? But Bergeron played his entire NHL career, or his entire hockey career, in the NHL, so...
How many years did Datsuk play?
Datsuk had 14 years in the NHL.
Yeah. Bergeron, I think, had 20. No.
But Datsuk didn't leave and come back, though.
Yeah, he left. He went and played it.
But NHL. But he didn't come back. Yeah, he was done in 15 and then went to the KHL afterwards. But there wasn't a back and forth kind of thing. Regardless, amazing player for those Red Wings teams throughout the years.
Oh, easily. I'm not going to contest that. I will never contest that. At all. But it was.
I hate the Wings.
You hate what?
I hate the Wings. They win too much. I mean, and partially because of Datsuk stepping up and being that guy for so long.
Hey, it wasn't just Datsuk though. Like you got to remember,
it wasn't. He was a very important part of that team. He was probably one of the most important pieces of that team that consistently won and went on deep runs.
I agree. I'm not going to deny you there. But, yeah. Rick, what would you have to say? Who would you pick?
I'd probably pick Bergeron.
Just plainly. Yeah, I'd pick Bergeron.
That's coming from a Montreal Canadiens fan. That means
is that? Are you just saying that because the Canadians, you saw a lot more screen time with Bergeron, or
no? I think there's value in the Selke trophies. I think it says a lot for the type of player he was. A true two-way guy. Like he put up the points, and on the defensive side, he was great. So Yeah, I put value in that in those Selke trophies.
Well, we got you real quick. I don't want to go too far off topic, but obviously you're a huge Canadians fan. Who is your most hated Bruin of all time?
My
Probably
most
Chara.
hated Bruin of all time, probably Terry O'Reilly.
Really? I was kind of actually, you know what? That makes a lot of sense because
That
Terry
makes sense.
O'Reilly was a pain in everyone's ass.
Yeah,
Like, you know, like he was the definition of I don't even know, dude.
Best.
He was a gritty grinder,
Yeah.
captaincy. He'd get under your skin.
I mean, he'd beat you up and then score a goal. I mean, like that's what,
Yeah.
and do it all the time. So no, I hated Terry O'Reilly. So yeah,
I wonder how many
my most hated.
Gordie Howe hat tricks he had.
I
Probably
don't
a ton.
know, but
Terry?
he
Yeah,
I hated him.
I'm looking it up right now.
Is there a stat for that?
Is there a stat
I'm
for
sure
what? How many?
Gordie
how
Howe.
many
There's a
Gordie
stat for
Howe
everything.
hat
There's a
tricks.
stat for how long it takes to poop. Like there is a stat for everything.
He had 10 Gordie Howe hat tricks, which is second place of all time behind Gordie Howe, who had 19. A fight, a goal, and assist.
That's very impressive, actually.
Yeah.
10 is still all time. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
And Gordie Howe had like 20 more seasons played than Terry O'Reilly did.
Yep.
That's nuts. Well, guys, final thoughts before we close out tonight. I know it was fun playing the game. Fans, please let us know what you think. Who would you pick? I mean, we're definitely going to tag all of the LA Kings fans and all the Bruins fans on our Twitter and TikTok and see and let the fun ensue. So, I mean, no, I'm sure there's even some Bruins fans, there's some LA Kings fans that would go either way. So please let us know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think even the two players were comparable? If you don't, like, you know, give us your thoughts on it. Who would make a better comparison? Who do you guys want us to compare? Like, you know, at least, and then we'll even feature it and give you guys a shout out. Guys, any final thoughts?
I'll let you go, Steve.
Time's ticking down to this preseason. I can't wait. So just hold on, boys. Hold on until we could actually get some hockey back in our lives.
Amen.
That was almost exactly what I was going to say too. We're a few weeks away from training camp. I'm just happy the Patriots are playing now to kill some time. Preseason was fun this weekend, the week before, so I'm just excited to get hockey back in our lives.
I guess. No, same. I mean, it's gonna be great. But we'll be back in 2 weeks. Maybe 2 weeks. We'll be back eventually. But stay tuned for us. We might have a special guest come back on in the end of September. A very good friend of the podcast will probably be joining us, and maybe another guest therefore after. We don't want to give any spoilers, so please you know, keep a lookout for that. But until next time, guys, go Bruins. Preseason's only a month away, so we'll see you next time.